and welcome back to the Pony Talk Podcast. Great to see you all here for another late podcast. Yeah, alright. Guys, I promise, with all my heart, that we are going to catch up, like, it's going to be the next video. The next video, we will be updated to this week's podcast. So yeah, I've just been really busy. We actually just got out of school Thursday, and Friday did a lot of things, and this week's Memorial Week. So yeah, got something special for you guys too coming your way as well. But yes, we are going to catch up on Pony Talk because I know we've been late for a few episodes now. This one being included. But with that being said, let's get on with the review. So guys, we are with episode 8 right now, or the overall episode being 204. So awesome there. And this episode is titled Frenemies. Yes, Frenemies. This was a really good episode. I really enjoyed this episode. So yeah, let's just dive right into it because I honestly cannot wait for this review of this episode. Okay. So, the episode begins at Grogar's lair, or his little interesting building of like some sort of skull looking thing. But anyway, he is over there with, as we saw in, I think it was the premiere. Yeah, it was the premiere. T-Rex, Cozy Glow, and Chrysalis. But if you know, King Sombra was also released in Grogar's lair, but his recent defeat has left him really defeated. So he is no longer in the Pony Realm yet. He may make a return. That was our prediction in the premiere when we started up the Pony Talk podcast for season 9. Anyway, he is over here looking at his glass ball, and Cozy Glow, T-Rex, and Chrysalis are all arguing because all of them are villains. All of them have very, very direct and their own ways, their own paths to go along. They don't follow any others examples besides Grogar, and they also kind of wonder why they're even following Grogar. But he seems hopeful, so yeah. But they're fighting, and Grogar just has enough with them, and he's like, okay. He's like, stop you two, or stop you three, I should say. He's like, until you guys can sort things out and actually get along, we aren't going to accomplish anything. And I wish in real life examples, quite a few big ones, major ones out there that I'm not going to speak of, could also follow that example. But yeah, so he wants them to all work together because he says they will accomplish a lot, which obviously he's spot on with that. For a villain, he is very spot on with that. While Grogar is doing his things and all that, we have Cozy Glow, who decides to organize some sort of like a meeting slash, it kind of looks like a party at first, but this time it's a meeting. I don't even know where I was going with that, but okay. So yeah, she starts making this really, really fun looking banner. It has everyone smiling and happy faces, like this is really enjoyable. We are going to have a lot of fun with this. And Cozy Glow's really excited because she actually wants to work along with everyone, just as Grogar said. Now, it doesn't really quite go that way. So after she gets everything prepared and all that. She goes and visits T-Rex, which he's doing his own little things. He's actually in the gym working out. And Cozy Glow's saying, hey, T-Rex, you should come with me and to my own little meeting. I'm throwing something. And, you know, since Grogar is out doing whatever he's doing and left me in charge, you should totally do this, because he's going to be very happy and very proud if we can make this work. And T-Rex kind of comes back with a sarcastic remark saying, you little pony, you think you actually are going to be in charge of all of this. I highly doubt Grogar made you in charge. And Cozy kind of was like, well, he did. Take it or leave it, so you should come with me. And, so this is where, T-Rex, there's no way of getting rid of you, so if I just do what you say, then, yeah, let's just do this. Let's just do this. And Cozy's like, excellent. So, now she heads over to where Chrysalis, what she's doing, and she's playing with one of those logs that we saw in Season 8, the episode being titled The Mean Six, which was actually the mid-season finale of Season 8. Just a little recap right there. So I think she has the purple log, which was Twilight at the point. And she's just kind of emphasizing what's going to happen and all that. Cozy stumbles across her doing that, and she says, hey, Chrysalis. And she's like, what? Sorry if that was loud, but she's really upset. And that kind of scares the living lights out of Cozy a little bit. But she's like, oh, sorry if I'm disturbing you, but you know, Grogar left me in charge, emphasizing that one more time, and Chrysalis just cuts her off right there. She's like, ha! Grogar did not make you in charge. And, she's like, really? Grogar has his own thing, and even if you were in charge, I wouldn't follow you. I have my own personal stuff to get to, and my own types of ways. And if I'm going to conquer Equestria, I don't need you and T-Rex in my way. You're just a distraction. So this is where Cozy's like, well, we got cookies and all this stuff, and kind of bribing her in. And Chrysalis kind of gets pulled into it as well. So now, we have, Cozy, T-Rex, and Chrysalis at this little meeting that Cozy set up. And, they start talking about their ways and ideas of how they could conquer Equestria. This is where we kind of, like, go into different things, and, then this leads up into a song, which the song is Better Way to Be Bad, it's called. And this is when Chrysalis wants to take all of her rage out on Starlight for everything she's done with her army of changelings, and not even that, stealing her place in the hive. She basically threw out of her own kingdom. And T-Rex, he wants to just take over Equestria by getting the magic all back that he had at a point, but then Twilight and her friends came along and kind of took that away from him. So, yeah, but Cozy then inspires them with trust, cooperation, and all this types of stuff, and they actually start bonding and starting like, maybe this will be good. Who knows? But I still don't trust you guys. And then they kind of go back to their own ways and stuff like that, and they're like, you know what? Forget it. I'm doing it my way because my way is going to be a lot successful. And they start getting all upset, and they go crazy. And so basically from the beginning of how the episode started, we're back there again. And Grogar comes back and he's like, what is this nonsense? He's like, I told you guys to get along, and here you are again, not getting along. He's like, if you actually are still frustrated and all that, he's like, none of you are going to get any farther. Believe me, I am stronger than any one of you out there. He's just laying it on top of them. But he's like, I got a plan. And he's like, we need something. I need you to get a relic of mine that some pony took a long time ago and bring that back to me. And they're like, what's this? Oh, item? Pfft, we can get that for you anytime. And he's like, that's what I thought. And then he starts going into this legend of how this one pony called Gusty the Great, thousands of moons ago, stole his bewitching bell. That's what Grogar's bell was called. And Gusty the Great took it to Mount Everhoof. And Mount Everhoof is covered with a spell that Gusty cast, which was really strong winds that no Pegasus or anything flying or trying to climb could get up to the very tippy top. It was a very impossible journey. So he's like, if you guys actually pull this one off, then we'll have somewhere to go. So the three of them are kind of intrigued, and they decide, heck, I'm going to do this. I am going to be the one that Grogar is going to be so impressed with, and I'll show everyone that I don't need them, because all I need is myself. So, of course, they want to show who's the better person, who's the better villain, and they go to Mount Everhoof. And this is where they go there, and they're like, oh my gosh. And they look at the mountain, how it's all stormy and all that, and they're like, okay, well, we're splitting up, doing this our own ways, so yeah, see you suckers later. And they're just going all about over it. So now that we have them going in their own different ways, we go first to Cozy Glow, which Cozy Glow actually gets pretty far. And she finds this house. And I forget what the pony's name is. Oh, right, Rusty Bucket. Rusty Bucket is a pony who has been in this hill for quite a while. He hasn't seen any pony folk or anything like that around until he sees Cozy Glow, and Cozy Glow at this point is making an act up. She pretends that she's lost and she can't find her way back. And Rusty Bucket wants to help this filly. Little does he know that this filly is crazy. So Rusty Bucket asks Cozy what does she need help with. And Cozy's like, she's like, what would make me feel so amazing is if you could get me at the top of that mountain. And Rusty's like, oh, no can do, filly. I have to protect this mountain from any dangerous creatures or anything going up there. So there's nothing I could do. And Cozy kind of gets frustrated, like really frustrated with this pony folk. And so she starts getting really upset and eventually loses her temper. And this starts to make the mountain shake. And Rusty Bucket keeps shushing her and shushing her because she is going to create an avalanche, which would not be good in this situation. Cozy tries to attempt to climb the mountain herself, which that doesn't really go out well, and she gets so irritated that she starts yelling again and frustrated. Rusty Bucket trying to calm her down. That doesn't help, and an avalanche starts up, and everything's fine. Rusty Bucket's house is fine and all that, and the avalanche creates this giant snowball and actually puts Cozy in that giant snowball, rolls off the mountain, and yeah. So, with that, Cozy is left all wet, and she's upset that she failed and all that, and sees a light in the distance in the forest a little bit, and we see T-Rex. What is T-Rex doing here all the way at the bottom of the mountain? Well, he explains that to us, and he's like, "Ha! I can see you failed." And she's like, basically like, "Just shut up. I don't want to hear it." And she's like, "What have you accomplished?" He's like, "Absolutely nothing." He's like, "See, how it was going to work with me is either you or Chrysalis would go up to the top, claim the bell as yours, and I would take all the credit." And Cozy is like, "Oh, He's like, "That is not going to help." So, Cozy is just so confused by T-Rex ignorance. I couldn't think of the word for a second. And this is where Cozy kind of makes a whole deal out of it, and then ends up making T-Rex kind of upset, and this triggers an animal. Triggers. Oh my gosh, that word. This animal, I don't know how to say it. An Orphataurus? I don't know how to say that. Very, very weird creature. It's like part bull and snake mixed together. But anyway, they're like, kind of like, "Oh, shoot." And then, right out of distance, another one of those creatures comes along, this time it being a female. The male kinda, well, what he does is, he has hearts in his eyes, and he's like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "I'm in." And goes over to the nice lady, and, well, it's not what he thinks. And so, it changes into, well, Chrysalis. Chrysalis was acting as one of those creatures and ends up sucking the love out of that creature, making it sick and all that. Chrysalis says that she needed that because she hasn't had that much to eat in a very long time, ever since they were in that cave with Grogar. Sorry, that was my phone. Just reading what that is. Oh, nothing important. Okay, sorry about that. But yeah, so now the three decide to stay at T-Rex's little site, start talking about what they'll do when they achieve this bell and claim it from the top of Mount Everhoof. And so then they start getting into, oh, if Twilight and her friends didn't do this, we wouldn't have to be in this situation right now, and I wouldn't have to be stuck with all of you. And then they kind of imitate some of what Twilight does and some of the other things, and Chrysalis does a really good impression of Twilight. So good that it's very accurate. I actually had a crack out of it. A really good laugh. So she goes into changing into what Twilight looks like and goes, "Oh, Why do I do this? I am such a failure. How could I? And her getting into how Twilight does, or in the show that was introduced this season, Twilighting. So all of them are basically kind of laughing, and T-Rex says, "Ooh, that is a really good impression of Princess Twilight. Please do it again for our entertainment, because we need something that will lift our spirits." So she does it again, and then they decide to finally work together, because if they work together, things are going to happen in a huge major change. And so they kind of agree, after this is all done, we don't really want to see each other together really anymore. We just want to take Equestria as ours, and make Twilight and her friends very miserable, which is basically what this whole thing is all about. Retrieving that bell, conquering Equestria, and making Twilight and her friends miserable. So this is the whole thing. They make fun a little more about their defeat and all that, and then this is when they decide to group up and go through Mount Everhoof's different challenges and roadblocks and all that. Which that is when we see the scene of them either climbing up, getting to the other side of the mountain while flying, and eventually they get to the top, and when they get to the top, they are stopped by a force field that is actually around the cave where the bell is, and this is where it creates an issue. Now, with this basically being like, oh, how are we going to get through this barrier? Cozy Glow has the idea of T-Rex sucking the magic, or basically the magic out of Chrysalis, which he kind of did that a little bit in the beginning of the episode, trying to steal Chrysalis' magic during the meeting and all that. No, it's a little late for that, but it's a little minor detail there that is brought back into this part. And while this is happening, Cozy explains, yeah, T-Rex, if you take Chrysalis' magic, you'll have enough, you'll be super strong to break through that barrier. And so, Chrysalis is like, oh, no, because I know exactly what he's going to do. He's going to keep that all for himself, and I'll have nothing. There's no way. And Cozy's like, look at how far we've come. We still can do this, but we need you to do this for us so we can retrieve the bell and Grogar be very pleased with our works. And Chrysalis is like, well, if it helps with that and making Twilight and our friends miserable and ruling Equestria, let's do it. Heck, let's just do it. So T-Rex sucks the magic out of Chrysalis. He's all strong and showing off. He's like, oh, I've never felt this good in forever. And Cozy's like, okay, T-Rex, instead of you showing off, go through and collapse the barrier. So he does that. In a sense, he's very strong than what he was last time. And the barrier is basically collapsed, but only enough, only a very smidge, to where Chrysalis and T-Rex can't get through it. There's one that can, and that is Cozy. Cozy flies right through the collapsed part of the barrier, retrieves the bell, and gets out. And then this is where T-Rex actually gives back Chrysalis' magic. And Chrysalis is like, what? I'm so confused. I thought you were going to keep that for yourself. And T-Rex like, yeah. Huh. That was odd, but, you know, helping each other and making this actually work, it paid off. We got the bell. Something Grogar who claims to be really a lot more powerful than we are, we did this on our own. And so they're like, wow, this really has taught me a lesson about doing this and all that. And Chris is like, whoa, oh my gosh, it's happening. Friendship. The magic of friendship is compelling us. That's not good. And she's like, God. She's like, that's how strong the power of friendship is. You can't let it get to you. And they're like, but it was nice. So what are we going to do now? And they're like, well, you know what? We're going to keep this bell between ourselves. Because we don't want Grogar to find out. Because if we do this, if we got through this hard task, there's so much we can do. So much we can do. And all our dreams and problems will go away. So they will come, our dreams will come, and our problems will go away. So they decide to pretend that they didn't retrieve the bell and disappoint Grogar, and Grogar's like, oh, he's like, you three have always been worthless. He's like, if only you knew how to get along, then we wouldn't have these issues. And Cozy Gogas says, sorry, Grogar, we didn't mean to disappoint you. And he's like, I don't have time for that. He's like, you all should be ashamed. And he goes off, and they're like, oh, you'll see. Just wait. And they all start laughing, and they have the bell in the corner of the cave, hidden away, which is literally the last scene right before the episode ends. They actually claim the bell is theirs. So Grogar has no idea that they have the bell, and they played a little scheme to keep the bell away from Grogar from noticing, because they want to take over Equestria. And they will do that. So now that they know that they can actually work together in some way, shape, or form, may not be the best, but if it helps taking over Equestria, that's what it will. That will do it. With that being said, guys, I'm very excited to see where this goes now that the three enemies, T-Rex, Cozy Glow, and Chrysalis, now have this bell, the Bewitching Bell. I'm kind of curious what's going to happen, and I definitely think this is a part that's going to be in the finale, if not close by the finale. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be in the finale. So, yeah, I want to hear from you guys. What did you guys think? My personal thoughts, fantastic episode. I love seeing an episode with the three main bad guys, who are definitely going to be in the season finale. It's going to be interesting to see where this all wraps up into, because guys, once it's over and done, it's gone, and My Little Pony Friendship is Magic will cut off, and then we'll be on Generation 5, which will be interesting. Which we'll get more into that in a future podcast. I do have a podcast coming out, hopefully relatively soon. Well, not soon, but soon enough, that we need to discuss, because I want to hear from you guys what you are going to think on the subject. But going back to this episode, Frenemies, yeah, this was a really good episode. I really enjoyed it. Two thumbs up for this episode. It was really good, and I want to see more episodes like it, but I think this is the only episode we're going to get of it, unless we get some other tie-in along with Frenemies. I don't know, but we will definitely see these three in a future episode. So yes, but I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this episode. What did you think about Frenemies? Did you love it? Did you not like it? Or did you think it was Okay. I want to hear from you. Just leave it down in the comments below, and I'll be more than happy to check that out for you guys. And if you guys want to join the Pony Talk Podcast, all you need to do is leave a comment down below saying you want in, and it just may in fact be your lucky day, because we still have quite a bit of spots open for this season. And this is it, guys. After the season's done, we won't be with Friendship is Magic anymore. So definitely think about that, because all good things must come to an end, and it's absolutely true. So yes, but the next episode will be relatively soon. Literally, you're gonna get two podcasts, this one and then the next one, which the next one will be episode 9, which will be called Sweet and Smoky. So we will see you in episode 9, Sweet and Smoky, which will be the overall episode of 205. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought of this episode, and that will be a wrap with this podcast. We will be caught up in the next podcast, and thank you all so much for watching. And as always, we will see you in the next Pony Talk podcast, when we come back to episode 9, or overall episode 205. Oh boy, guys. It's gonna be great. Peace out. Bye, every pony!